Hey,
Hey,
Duds.
what's going on, brother?
So are we going to see you back next year if they'll have you?
1000%. Come on, man. They need me, man. They need me like I need them. Come on.
From your vantage point, what was it like kind of watching this team navigate this season and all of the sort of ups and downs with it? And how mentally tough was it on the group?
It was mentally tough, but I thought it was going to help us in the long run. I thought that even with Braun and AD's injury being out a long time, Dennis was slowly finding himself. We were trying to get it. Gasol started playing well second half of the season. I mean, it definitely was rocky. We lost a lot more games than we were supposed to, and how it is, but got to that 7th seed. And let's just be honest, man. We up 2-1. Anthony, we're up 10 in the first quarter. The Los Angeles Lakers are not the same team without Anthony Davis. That injury was a huge factor. Credit the Phoenix Suns of dissecting that and going after it and playing winning basketball. And Booker was phenomenal that closeout win, and they deserved to win the series. But, I mean, you can't tell me any different if we don't win the series but without AD not being hurt. But injuries are part of it, and that's where having such a quick turnaround from the bubble win championship, it all plays a huge factor. It happens. And so you're hoping that this summer is a big summer for a lot of guys taking care of their body and coming back. And, I mean, come on, man. We still close. I mean, people can say Braun's getting older, AD hurt. You can say all that, but trust me, man, the Lakers with a little couple tweaks here, we'll be right back at it.
Okay, we're going to go to Bill Oram, please.
Jared, last year when you guys won it, the chemistry was such a huge part of it, and guys talked about it, you know, as you're really kind of this unique blend of personalities and the way that everybody clicked. How would you describe the chemistry with this year's group? And obviously, I'm sure the circumstances of the season contributed to it not being the same. But in what ways did the chemistry factor into the way this season ended up?
Small factor, because we all had to deal with every team. Small factor in a sense for us, just like team dinners. Probably, if you had to count last year doing 15, maybe we had 1 or 2 this year. So just of a chemistry, getting to know people, your family, wives, girlfriends hanging out, stuff like that makes it easier at home. But just a small factor. But from us, we had bowling events, different stuff. Braun had his birthday, Halloween get together. It's just more of, it makes it more of a family stuff that Rob Pelinka does in this organization for families and stuff like that. It makes us small. But last year's a different team, man. The team won a championship. That team had Hall of Famers, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, one of the smartest basketball minds, Danny Green, champion, JaVale McGee, champion of that one, the pedigree. These were people we're trying to find ourselves. Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year. Dennis, runner-up, now becoming a starter. Drummond, getting a buyout, not playing for Cleveland for a month or 2 months, and then coming to us. There was a lot of different factors in through injuries. I wouldn't say we navigated it well. I thought the chemistry was good, not great, in the sense of it wasn't any particular player's fault. It was just a situation of COVID and what you could and couldn't do. And so I can't wait to next season where guys can really be able to, buckle down and be able to hang out with each other, get stuff like that. And last year, I remember before we won the championship, Braun had some of us go to Vegas and had our own little boot camp and tell us our roles. And we didn't have all that time, but that's not the reason why we lost. That's definitely not. It was just the injury bug and not be able to come together and be right at the end.
Okay, Dave McMenamin.
Jared, your position in the game, your age on this planet probably puts you uniquely qualified to just, you said, people say LeBron's getting older, but if this thing's going to work, right, he's going to be year 19 and 37 years old, leading the championship team. How have you been able to see it over the last 2 years that he makes it happen?
Consistency. LeBron is the most consistent athlete I've ever been around. I've been around a lot of Hall of Famers. Steve Nash, Grant Hill. CP will be a first ballot Shaq. Amari Stoudemire. He is consistently in the weight room. He's consistently taking care of his body. His preparation is like no other. He's got a God gift of obviously a body frame and that, and ability mentally to lock in. We can all be honest here. He was the leading candidate MVP before he got hurt of his ankle. It's the first time he had a serious ankle injury, out 6 to 8 weeks, came back a little bit too premature early to try to help us out. Had to go back and rest a little bit more. And if it wasn't for the playoffs, you don't even know if he would have been out there at that time. You salute him. People say he's slowing down, and that's natural to slow down a little bit. And that's where you have Anthony Davis. And that's where he has to take the torch. And that's where he will take the torch next year of big summer, taking care of his body, getting it to the right point of where we need it for him to lead and be back a first team all NBA player. And that's what we expect. And that's what he expects from himself. So, but yeah, to be honest with you, his consistency is phenomenal.
Okay, BT, please.
BT, what's going on?
What up, JD?
Rod Turner.
Allison.
Roderick Turner, sorry.
Before I go to Paris, no, I'm not next week. Hey, look, all things considered, what's it going to take for this team to get back to the championship level that you guys had last year?
We have to raise our IQ. The IQ was not what it needed to be to be a championship contender. One thing about Rondo, I love Rondo, stubborn, great dude, one of the best high basketball IQ. And that someone like him and Bron, they cover up deficiencies. That's how it is. I mean, you have 15 guys. There's a pay scale. You have supermax guys. You got all-stars. And so when you have that, you got guys like myself that are minimum players. You have the mid-level. And those guys cover it up. And we had Rondo cover up a lot of other players' flaws and weaknesses and help them cater to their strengths. And we have different other players like Dennis, who's a great scorer. We have Montrezl Harrell's a good scorer. We have different specialists at different things. But our IQ was not as high as it needed to be a championship contender, to be at that, especially different times. Know when to target. Booker has one foul in the first quarter. Put him on pick and rolls. Hopefully give him a second foul. As you saw, Dallas did that to Paul George to help win that game. To get him in foul trouble, it changes the whole momentum. That's an IQ play. Coaches don't need to call a play. It's just the IQ on the floor. When to give to Bron the ball in his spot and that's something that we just need to improve. I mean, with that being said, man, Anthony Davis is healthy. We're going to be fine. This team just needs 1 or 2 tweaks. Obviously, let's just be real. Shooting was a concern of us. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We shot the ball terrible. LeBron and AD need shooting and spacing and IQ. Those are the 2 concerns that we have, and that's something that we'll address this offseason.
Okay, Kyle Goon, please.
Hey, Jared, I want to ask you a question for BT and I go to Paris this offseason. So obviously the injuries were the biggest factor for availability and chemistry, but there's 2 specific things that seem to maybe rock the boat a little bit were the trade deadline, where you guys had some players mentioned in, reports of a potential deal, and then obviously bringing in Andre and sort of the squeeze at the center position that created. How do you think just overall those 2 things were handled and how they affected chemistry?
When you play for the Lakers, I mean, there's always going to be trade rumors. Last year, when the championship, remember, I heard, D Rose might be coming to the Lakers. We bring Keith over. Dion Waiters through buyout. I mean, you're going to always hear names mentioned. I heard Aldridge at the break. We're a championship team that people at the end of their career want to jump on and be able to come through. Drummond was a perfect example. It could have been a lot of other different people at different times. I don't think it affected it. You're going to have that in there. KCP, Kuzma, their names have been mentioned before. I mean, I remember in my day when I was playing a lot of minutes, my name got mentioned just because if you're a good player and it just happens. I don't think that affected at all, to be honest with you. I thought that obviously Drummond coming in, I thought that helped Marc Gasol. I thought he struggled early in the year. I thought Marc Gasol was phenomenal second half of the year. And I thought because Drummond pushed him, thought his shot, thought his decision-making, about everything he did. And sometimes he needed to just he's a guy who had to play off feel and flow. And the more he played with you, the better he was. I thought that was perfect. You need competition to push you. The Lakers, as long as LeBron James, Anthony Davis here, you're going to have 10 guys that can play because we're going to stack the decks. You see Brooklyn's doing it. It's how you're supposed to do it. Like, you're supposed to give yourself the most best basketball players you can to give yourself a chance. So there was no problem these last 2 years since I've been in the locker room of any beef, of any problem. Good chemistry. We won the chip. It was phenomenal chemistry, and that's part of my job to make sure that happens. And if it doesn't happen, then I did a poor job. And you never heard any reports to any of you guys media that if there was any problems, because if it was, it came from me anyway, because I tell you guys what's going on in this locker room because I'm the source of it.
Okay, and last question is going to be Michael Duarte, please.
Hey, JD, it's just based on what you said, being that player coach, being that guy in the locker room, this is the perfect question for you. Outside of just the longer off season and more rest, what can guys like AD, LeBron do to stay more healthy throughout the season? I know Bron had said to us, he would go over to your house when he was treating his ankle a little bit. You had some stuff for him over there. Magic said AD should start doing yoga. What things do you think and can you recommend to them to do in this off season?
Well, I mean, listen, everyone has their own approach, man. I'm here that when I had my MCL, the rehab process I did, the MCL was the best thing for my career, which sounds crazy because it helped me take a look back of my nutrition and how I rehab and my dedication to weight room. Lost 20 pounds. My knee feels better. I know you guys might laugh. I'm out here dunking more than I ever have. And so in the sense of that it's about your mentality of how you want to attack it. And so it's not really tell them, oh, do yoga, do boxing. Take care of your body. You know what you put in your Ferrari. Anthony Davis is a Rolls Royce. What you put in that, you're not going to put, the 89 gas in there. You're going to put the premium tank. So what you put in your body, how you train, how you go about it every day. This is your life. You're a pro. And so those guys, they know how to handle that. They've done it. They're champions. So I'm not worried about that. So for us, it's just to get the proper rest. We get a quick turnaround. This is like losing in the Western Conference Finals because it's the beginning of June and we're going to start back on normal schedule here in October. But sometimes you need this as an athlete. You need to be able to lose and be able to come back hungrier. Us be able to come back in that short season. Did it have a factor? Maybe it did. Who cares? But for us, it's how hungry you're going to be. And you need the guys in here that are hungry to be able to get a banner because when you come to play for the Lakers, all that matters is the championship or bust.
Okay, and I think we have, let's see, Dan Woike, please. Last question.
JD, if LeBron's a Ferrari and AD is a Rolls Royce, what's BT, like a 75 Chevelle then? Or?
I would say Cadillac.
Classic. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Dud.
JD, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jared.
Appreciate you.